Hey, we are here and I am literally sweating. Summer is upon us. It's been raining all morning. I chose a long sleeve set because I'm like trying this new thing where I kind of treat myself every week to a new lounge set until it gets like to be too much, mostly from Amazon so that I could justify it by saying like, oh, I can link it and make commission, but mostly also because I need a new outfit to wear every week because if I'm posting my podcast clips, I need like different outfits to post in. I can't just be reusing outfits just yet. I mean, this is a new starting podcast. But here's the thing. I'm also trying a new mic position today. Something new every week. So it could sound great. It could sound terrible. We will see. I just want the P's to be better. Like the P's are so like pa, you know? God, let me take a sip. I think this is the earliest in the day that I record. And I'm definitely feeling it because it feels a little chaotic. Sorry to piece of ice in my mouth. I'm also sweating. My hair is dirty. I'm also trying to not use the headphones today because I honestly don't know what they do. I don't. Okay. Sometimes I could hear what I'm saying through them. Sometimes I can't. I feel like the headphones will really come in if I ever have like two guests and two mics and that sort of thing. So you can like hear what they're saying through the mic, Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the set. So I'm treating myself to a new set. And I know Izzy just did not lick the microphone. Okay, I'm treating myself to a new set every week. And yeah, what do I have in my notes for the week? I make notes of like what I want to talk about because if not, I would just ramble and forget. I want to be on a beach. I have like such a strong want for a vacation right now. I can't remember the last time in the last like 5 years that I haven't had like a vacation on the books. And genuinely, I have no vacations right now. Now, that is because I'm saving up because I'm moving, But I want to go to the beach so bad. Everyone's on spring break right now, and I just feel like so boring and lame. And I'm not a college girl anymore, but I want to be. And I was in the nail salon the other day, and I actually posted a TikTok about this that actually did really good views. And that's the only thing that does good views these days. But I posted a TikTok because these three girls came in. They asked for 3 dip manicures and 3 gel pedicures, which is like so college. You know what I mean? College before spring break. They sit down, they're talking about when's the Airbnb check-in, who's getting the groceries, what frat are they going to invite over, what day. They're going to do matching swimmies one day, which day do they want to do their matching swimmies, when is their spray tan going to fully develop, and like literally, I was like, I want to be having these conversations. I want to be talking about when my spray tan will develop. I want to be talking about when the Airbnb check-in is. But I'm not. I'm talking about when I'm going to go into work this week. And speaking of, this is a good segue. What am I doing this week? I'm bored because I am off of class and school all this week. And I'm technically supposed to be off of work, but I'm trying to get ahead of hours since I'm going to be taking off like another week because basically I only have to work 20 hours a week. But it's like, oh my God, can you stop barking? Seriously? But I only have to work 20 hours a week, but it's technically like how many hours will you work by the end of the year? So it like evens out to 20 hours a week. You know what I mean? But I'm like, if I work extra hours this week when I don't have to work any hours technically, I can have off Andrew's spring break and we can go to Austin again to visit because he hasn't toured any apartments yet. And we're going to tour more apartments and all that stuff. So this week, I'm very bored. I am going to be home alone basically every day. I should probably try to plan to do something, but I'm planning to just like change my entire look. So I'm going to get my brows laminated and done. I think I'm going to chop all my hair off. Not all my hair off. I'm being dramatic. I want it like a bob. Is that crazy? I want a bob. And then I had a gift certificate to go get a facial and Botox and all that, but they don't have an appointment until next week. So I'm going to that next week. So I'm going to get Botox for the first time. And yeah, I kind of just like, I'm also going to get a spray tan, but that's obvious. I kind of just want to like change everything. Should I get highlight? Should I dye my hair? Yeah, I might also like lay out and tan, even though like I don't do that. But I'm probably vitamin D deficient. My mom just texted me that. She said she ordered me pills. So that's exciting. Anyways, so yeah, I'm very bored. I want to go to the beach. I want to like go to like an all-inclusive resort in Cancun. But I just don't foresee that happening in the foreseeable future with the finances of moving. Because also, something I've been doing very cutely is making Canva layouts of my apartment. So like every single piece of furniture I've ever loved, copy and paste it into Canva, and I am like Simsing my future apartment, and it's looking like it's going to be pretty expensive because I'm not keeping a lot of furniture from my house. I'm basically just keeping my bed frame, my dresser, and maybe my desk. That's it. In this chair. I don't think I can get rid of this chair because I'm going to need a podcast chair, you know? The only problem is when I have a guest, I don't have another one of these chairs because I don't know if I ever said this story. Basically, this green chair is from my freshman year dorm. My roommates found it at like Habitat for Humanity. I think it was like $25. Their mom cleaned it up for us. We put it in the dorms. They took it afterwards and they were like, hey, does anybody want this chair? We're not using it. And I was like, oh my God, that's my dream chair. Thank you. I'll take it. So I went pick it up one day, had it ever since. One day, I'm in Habitat for Humanity. I find the exact replica of this chair. It was just like a rocking chair. This one doesn't move. That one was a rocking chair. And I was like, oh my God, I need this chair. I need this chair. I go on it. It says sold. To be picked up on this date by Dave. And I'm like, who the F is Dave? And why does he have my chair? A Dave doesn't deserve this neon green chair. And Emily deserves this chair that matches my other chair. So what do? I go to the employees and I'm like, hey, do you have Dave's number? I would love to contact Dave. And I'm surprised, but they gave me his number, which like might have been illegal. But I call Dave up. He doesn't answer. I text Dave. It's green text messages. Huge red flag. Dave calls me back. He says he's from the north. His wife had back surgery or something, and they're here because his parents died, sad, and they're redoing the house to sell it, and he needed a comfortable chair for his wife to sit in while they're redoing the house. But that I could have the chair from him in 6 months. And then tries to sell me on his church and how his family started this church and how to get the chair back. Oh, I need to go to church with him and like meet up for coffee or breakfast. And like, it kind of got a little weird after that, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep Dave's number in my back pocket and call him in October when I can get this chair. Well, I was like, what, a junior, senior in high school at this time? Not high school, college at this time. I lost his number. Obviously, I had it magnetized to my fridge and I lived with my little sister and my boyfriend and like it disappeared at some point. So I never got to contact Dave and go see his church, which it definitely didn't feel like the type of church for me or the type of breakfast date for me, but I really wanted the chair. And so now the chair is just like out there somewheres, maybe redonated, maybe in a landfill. I don't know what Dave did with it afterwards, but really wish I would have kept Dave's number because that would have been the perfect second chair for a podcast guest. So now, honestly, I might try to take this chair apart one day and like look to see if there's a tag to see if I could find what brand it is and like vintage shop, you know, for this chair. Because I think about that chair a lot. Anyways, really got off topic there. But yeah, so we're not breaking a lot of furniture at all. So we're buying most of the things. And I'm using it as an excuse to like get new stuff because I've like most of the furniture I have is free. Like in my house right now, the only things that I've bought are my nightstands, my bed frame, my dresser. I got my couch for free. I got this chair for free. I got my dining table for free. Now, granted, is it all on its last leg because it was like from my college days? Most of my furniture is hand-me-down from my brother who had it in his college days and then gave it to me in my college days. And then I've kept it since because like, what's the point of buying new furniture? Now there's a point in buying new furniture because I'm an influencer, so I can link it and make content around it. And that's what I'm telling myself. And it's a write-off. Speaking of write-off, I just saw a TikTok and it was like this girl crying and she was like, don't be a content creator. Like you have to pay so much in taxes. Huge misconception. You don't have to pay more than anybody else in taxes. You just don't have your taxes withheld from your paychecks. And that is something I didn't know when I first started content creating. So like last year actually was the first time that I had to pay taxes and I wasn't given a refund. And it was like astounding and shocking and scary, honestly, because I hadn't put money aside. I had no savings and I had to basically like scrounge up like thousands of dollars in the matter of a couple weeks to pay the government. And if you're getting into influencing or if you're doing things and you're making money, make sure you like put 20% aside. It usually doesn't end up being 20% with like write-offs and all that, but like put it aside because my taxes this year, I'm terrified because last year was the most obviously I've ever made in like content creation money. And I'm like on the edge of my seat, terrified, scared, just like waiting for the inevitable to happen for them to be like, hey, you owe us like 10K. I don't think it would be that much, but like I'm gonna owe a lot. So I'm really scared about that. But I think that's all I wanted to talk about for like personal things today. But guess what we're talking about today? We're talking about boys. Now let me give a disclaimer. I am not pro boy. I'm not pro man. I am pro girl. And a lot of my opinions are swayed this way. You could ask any of my friends. My initial thought in mostly everything is break up with him because he obviously did something wrong. He's a boy. And so just take that into consideration when you're taking my advice and when you're hearing what I'm saying, because I am anti-boy. I'm going to try to be fair and as fair as I can be, but usually a boy's in the wrong. So that's how I feel. Also, I have been out of the dating game for 3 years now, and I keep up with my friends a lot. I keep up with their like boy things and give them advice on things, but like I'm not actively on the scene anymore. So also keep that in mind. But all of our writers today are 23, so just a year younger than me. I feel like that's like old enough to have a head on your shoulders, but maybe young enough to still do stupid things and not know like what to do. Also, it's very young, so like throw that boy away, get a new one. You have time, you know? Anyways, let's begin. It's short write-ins today, so I might have a little short episode, which you guys might like better because I also noticed, not to like expose myself, I had like 600 like downloads on my first episode and then like under 100 on like the rest of them. So like, you nosy bitches, get back over here and keep being nosy because I would love for you to listen. Also, on my TikTok for my podcast, I have like profile views on. So like on TikTok, you can either have your profile views on and you cannot have your profile views on. If you don't have your profile views on, you can't see who sees your page. But if you do have your profile views on, you can see who sees your page that has their profile views on. Does that make sense? And so every day I go on and I'm like, who is looking at my page and not following? Lots of people that I know that pretend to be a cheerleader. Oop, not that. Anyways, we'll start so I don't be messy. Okay. My boyfriend of over a year and I decided to take a break. IDK had to move on because I feel like there is still hope for us to get back together, but IDK when? How do I move on? And what if we don't get back together? And what if I do? And what do I do if we get back together? We split because we kept fighting a lot. Okay, lots of questions. Also, I probably should like type out the abbreviations that people type, but it's okay. It adds to the flavor. So, this girl and her boyfriend are on a break. She doesn't know how to move on. Okay, they decided to take a break, but she doesn't know how to move on. If you're on a break and you haven't like broken up yet, you're not broken up. But if you're on a break for like ever, which seems like this because you had time to write in and listen to this, you should probably break up. You know what I mean? Okay, let me tell you this. And I think I said this an episode or two ago. If you are in the prime of your life at 23 years old, in your 20s, whatever age it is, and you have a boyfriend that you can't stop fighting with to the point where like it's so miserable to be in that relationship that you have to break up because you keep fighting, that's not your person. That's not your person. And it's not your time with that person if it is your person. You know what I mean? You're too like, you're not meant for each other if all you do is fight to where you have to break up because of it. You know what I mean? Somebody once told me, and it's really stuck with me. If you're fighting in the prime of your life with a person, imagine how bad it's going to be when you have huge stressors, when you have a mortgage, when you have kids, when you have bills, when you have a medical emergency that you can't afford, when you have all of these things that are happening. And yes, you have things happening in your 20s, not to the level that you have it in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you know? And you're fighting with this person when you're 23 years old, when all you have to worry about is passing your classes, paying your bills, and eating. You know, that is crazy to be fighting so much that you have to break up with this person. I don't think it's your person. And you know what? I'm going to say it. A lot of people go back to these relationships, because they feel like close and they feel safe and they feel like tied to this person, and they love a little toxic drama. You know what I mean? I had to like finally come to terms with the fact that my boyfriends that like caused all the drama in my life, I like ate it up because like I love the tea and I love the drama, but that's not what you need for your whole life. You know, you need like safety, security, like peacefulness, calmness. I had like so much drama in every aspect of my life until I met Andrew. And like, Andrew is my boyfriend, by the way, not to be like, ooh. He is like the calmness and the serenity in my life, and like just like the one part of my life that like hasn't been like just utter chaos, you know? And I am a girl that loves the tea. I love the chaos, but like I finally realized like what I needed and what I deserved was somebody that like was so calming and was like just this force that I didn't have to always question, and I didn't have to always fight with it. I didn't have to always say like go to bed thinking about all the possibilities that could happen. You know what I mean? So ominous of me. But what I'm trying to say is like, that's not your person. It's not. Simple as that. I could keep hammering the dead nail. Wait, I keep getting my sayings. I could keep beating the dead horse and hitting the nail on the head. Two separate ones. I could keep beating the dead horse, but I think I hit the nail on the head. That's not your person. Quite simple. Now, moving on. How do we move on? It's hard. It is really hard, especially, I talked about this, I think, last week, when there's not like a reason to hate each other. You know, yes, y'all were fighting, but like if there wasn't some like big blow up, you hate him because he cheated on you or he like killed your cat or something. It's hard to get over it because you don't have like the animosity that you want to hate this person. You still think of like, what if like we just fought a little bit, like, but we still love each other, we still care about each other. No. No, 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 no. No, you don't. Because you fought all the time. There's obviously huge differences in beliefs and balances and just like the way both of you like go about life if you're fighting all the time. So moving on is a little harder because you're always going to say like, what if, what if, what if? So I think you should take this advice. Don't think about the what ifs. Don't think about what if we didn't fight so much? What if we just agreed to disagree? What if we did this? What if we did work out? What if we got back together? None of the what ifs. And think, I need to do what's right for me. And what's right for me is not to constantly be in a battle with somebody that's supposed to be my other half, you know, because that's what a relationship is. It's your other half, you know? And so if you are constantly at battle with half of yourself, because that's what they say, you come together as one when you get married. If you're constantly in battle with half of yourself, that is going to make you in your head go into a turmoil and go into a spin. You know what I mean? My favorite example, I actually just gave this example to one of my friends that's going through something right now. Paige DeSorbo. Paige DeSorbo, for a little backstory, on Summer House, on a Bravo reality show, has a podcast, and was dating this guy on another Bravo reality show for 3 years, okay? And towards the end of the 3 years, like she started saying like, I'm so anxious. I'm so anxious to even do the podcast, which I love. I'm so anxious to go up on stage. I'm so anxious to like, even like do anything. I have to take beta blockers. Like I'm having to like figure everything out. And finally, she comes back one day and she's like, yeah, I broke up with my boyfriend and I feel a million times better. And it's not like to say that it was his fault. It was just like the energy that was draining from her, putting it into that relationship to try to make it work was detrimental to her, you know? So I think that's a great lesson to be learned here today is you can't let this person drain your energy and your sparkle and your life just because you want it to work out so bad, you know? So I think moving on, you have to just like really stand in the fact that like, this is what's best for me. He is not what's best for me. There's so many more fish in the sea out there that are probably 10 times better than him, you know? And also another thing that like I remind myself a lot of is like, there are more people outside of your hometown, you know? It's great when you like meet your high school sweetheart and you get married 20 years later, but it's also great to realize maybe the love of my life, my person is not in my town of 1,000 people, you know? So with all that being said, stay broken up, in my opinion. Remember your worth. Remember that he's not good for you. And remember that you could always do better. And there's so much opportunity out there. And there's so much fun also in being single in your 20s. Unfortunately, I did find Andrew at a pretty young age to where I can't be single in my 20s. But we both give each other like the freedom to do what we want. So that's helpful. But like all my girlfriends that are like stressed about getting like a boyfriend and finding a boy, I'm like, you guys, like, take a deep breath. Like when you get out of the like toxic Southern mindset of I need to be married and have babies by 25, life is so much more fun because you don't even need to meet someone until you're 30. You have all of your 20s just to like have fun, do what you want, do what makes you happy and not worry about a boy and just like have fun, you know? So that's that on that. Next, also from a 23-year-old. I've been seeing this guy for 2 months now, and we do all the BFGF stuff. Not like that, LOL, like go on dates, hang out at each other's houses, go shopping together, etc. We've even met each other's friends. But he hasn't asked me to be his girlfriend. How do I bring up the what are we talk without making it weird? P.S. This is not part of the write-in, but it would be fun. It could be fun to have Andrew on the pod to answer this from a guy's perspective. So it's funny. So I read this prompt to Andrew in hopes that it could like kind of convince him to come on the podcast because I feel like Andrew is one that I could have as a guest without having two microphones because like we could probably both sit like really close to the microphone and like it not be uncomfortable because we're dating and we're in love. You know what I mean? So I did try to entice him with this writer wanting Andrew to come give advice, but he literally laughed and said, I'd be terrible at this because he still has never asked me to be his girlfriend. So he's not good at that advice. We've been dating for 3 years, but I still joke and say, hey, I'm single because I don't have a boyfriend. You don't have a girlfriend. We never did that. And he's asked like jokingly now when I bring up that and like rub it in his face, but it's never real. So like we're kind of going to go from just like being friends to engaged one day, you know? But back on the right end. So it's the infamous what are we talk. Now, you never want to say like, what are we? I think, especially in the phase of life I'm in right now, I like to kind of just get straight to the point. What are we is like a cringy question for me. I think if you frame it more in a way of like, hey, I'm just going to be straight up. I like you. I don't want to see anybody else. If you do, that's cool. But like, I would prefer if we can like talk about being exclusive. I don't know. This is like so crazy because little fun fact, me and Andrew were best friends and I got drunk on my 21st birthday and kissed him. And then we just woke up the next morning dating. Like it never even was like a conversation about like, are we hooking up with other people? It was like always just us, you know? And so I think that's like the biggest point in like the what are we defining the relationship talk is like, are we hooking up with other people? And if you guys are like doing all these things, like maybe don't overthink it. Maybe you're dating. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're already dating and like he already thinks you're dating. And if you are, then you can have this conversation with him and you could be comfortable enough to have this conversation and be like, hey, like, I know we're pretty serious. I know we do a lot together. And like, just to be frank, I like you, but I also just want to make sure that I'm not like screwing myself over and getting my hopes up here because I am like exclusively with you. And I know we haven't had the talk yet. And like, if you're not ready, that's fine. But I would love to just like dabble in the conversation of like, what are we? You know? Like, I think you just have to be like kind of cute with it and kind of like silly with it and almost be like embarrassed, playing with your hair, like cutesy, flirty, joking, and then like see if it gets serious or see if it stays joking, but like have the conversation. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm definitely going to need to bring guests on one day because I feel like I'm so out of it with like boys. How do boys respond to things? Also, when I was like dating in college, it was like a lot of just like not even dates. It was like going out to the bar and meeting guys, you know? So yeah, moral of the story, I think you just need to, one day when y'all are talking, don't like say like, let's sit down and talk. One day when y'all are already like chatting on the couch or something, giggling, laughing, having fun, make sure you're not in bad moods because like that would ruin the vibe. Wait for the right time and be like, okay, so I've been kind of meaning to ask like, and don't think I'm crazy, don't think I'm weird. We've obviously been hanging out for a while. I don't want to make it weird, but I do like you and I do want to like kind of like put a label on it if you're like ready for that. Like just like be very like cutesy and like see where his face is going as you're saying things and like pivot accordingly. Does that make sense? I feel like if you're like basically doing all the boyfriend girlfriend stuff with them, you should be comfortable like talking to them about this, you know? I would hope at least. So yeah, maybe that was terrible advice. Hope it's not. Okay, and our last story isn't so much a write-in. It's kind of a funny story because I needed like some comedic timing because I'm becoming a little too much of like a self-help podcast and I'm really not into it. I know that's like what I created was an advice podcast, but like, I don't know. I don't want to be too woo-woo. You know what I mean? Like, okay, anyways, this one's funny. I just started seeing this guy and we were actually on a date at a restaurant waiting for a table. He was on his phone next to me and I could see him texting a girl on Snapchat. Keep in mind, I haven't known this man long and he hasn't mentioned many of his friends. I saw the girl's name and kept it on the back burner for later. When I went to the bathroom, I looked up her name real fast on Instagram and couldn't find her. Later that night, he wanted to show me one of his other friends and asked to see my phone to look them up on Instagram. He doesn't have Instagram. I forgot to delete the searches, so he opened my search to me searching literally like 9 different variations of this girl's name. He never said anything about it, but I know for sure he saw it. I was mortified. But hey, the girlie's stalk. Oops. Literally, that is so funny to me because I can't tell you how many times I've literally sat on my phone and like worried that someone would see something or do something or whatever. I'm like paranoid about this. You can ask any of my friends if I start talking like, let's just be honest, anything that I wouldn't want anybody to hear, I'm double checking nothing's recording. I'm double checking nothing is like secretly on my phone. I could literally basically clear out all my apps, throw my phone across the room because I'm so anxious about it. Just because like An unplanned like voice memo or anything like that is like actually the worst thing to ever happen. Especially like my brain goes to like this one time I was in a fight with somebody. I don't even remember who it was. But I basically like, it probably was like a boy, honestly. I screenshotted what they were saying and I was going to send it to my friend and I accidentally sent it to them. And here's the hack of how to fix that. You just say like, I just wanted you to see how stupid you look. And like, yes, they probably like could put two and two together, but if it's a boy, he's probably too stupid to even notice. And he'll just be like, oh, you think I'm stupid? Blah, 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 blah. So that is what I'll usually do if I ever do that. Like, I just want you to see how stupid you look. Yes, it's kind of lame, but like you have to say something, you know? Because like if you can't unsend it fast enough, now that there's like text unsends, like there's not really a problem. But if you can unsend it fast enough, do it. But if not, stand your ground. Just be like, I wanted you to see how stupid you look. I wanted this for documentation. But also, I clear my search history on my Instagram religiously because like it's not weird. Like it's a very normal thing to do. I think boys just probably like think about it differently. You know what I mean? Like they don't think that it's normal to be like looking a girl up on Instagram and like maybe he didn't notice. I promise you, like boys are really more stupid than we give them credit for. This is a man hater podcast. Oops. Now let me also re-emphasize. I'm talking about straight boys. I'm not talking about gay boys when I say like boys being stupid. You know what I mean? So that is one thing that is very important to note. But I think it's like he probably didn't even notice, and if he did, like I feel like you can easily explain it away if it ever came up. Like, oh, my friend met her at a bar or something. Like, just like lie in a roundabout way. Yes, it might bite you in the ass later, but so what? I mean, life's not that serious. I think that's a funny story. And like, you obviously thought it was funny too, because that's what you wrote in when I asked for funny stories. I love it. But yeah, just to make sure y'all are clearing your search histories, especially on a date, because that's really awkward. Be careful about what screenshots you're sending and be careful about if your phone's recording. Also, you guys, did y'all know that when a phone answers, and I'm pretty sure like Shane Dawson did like a whole, what do you call that, conspiracy theory YouTube video on this, like back when like the conspiracy theory videos were huge. When you like answer the phone, you could sometimes hear like what they're saying before they answer. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think I'm crazy in saying this, but like the like 1 second before you like press answer, I think some people could hear it. So be careful what you're saying. Like, don't talk out of your ass, you know? Also, you never know where there's cameras places. I have cameras like inside my house because I'm paranoid. I also like let people know, especially if they're like sleeping over, like, hey, just let you know we have cameras. If people are sleeping in the living room, I usually like hide the cameras so they don't feel uncomfortable. But like there's cameras everywhere. So just remember that. Remember, keep your actions in line. You know what I mean? Oh my God, this is a really short episode today. I hope y'all don't mind. I don't know what it was. Like maybe, I think the write-ins were really short. I didn't like harp on them as much. I'm trying not to repeat myself as much because like it gets annoying. Especially because I listen to the podcast probably 3 times before it drops. So by the time it's dropped, I'm like so sick and tired of it. I'm like over it, you know? Oh my God. But if you are still listening, it means I trust you in my life. It means you are one of the real ones. I need your opinions. Do you think I should start having guests? Because like I'll do it if you guys are getting bored with just me because I think I'm getting bored with just me. But like, would y'all like that? Would y'all dislike that? Do you think it would be better? If you give me constructive criticism, I will accept it. Like you could be mean if it's constructive, you know? Just about like the podcast, if it's interesting, if it's boring, if you hate it. Because also I looked at like, I know I mentioned this earlier, but I looked at my numbers for the first time. Because like I haven't been looking at my numbers, which is great. Because I really get in my head about numbers. And I told myself I want to do this podcast for me and for the happiness of myself, not the numbers. So that is what I'm trying to stick to. But the numbers aren't great. They're good. They're not great. I also just have high standards, expectations, all of that. And my Instagram and TikTok views are really not doing good either. But you know what? It's okay. I'm vibing. I think I like this little life. I do. And I'm really hungry actually because I ate like half of my prepared lunch before this to like just get myself going, you know? Also, my last little thing before I let you guys go. I'm going to do some research about workouts and what workouts you should be doing at what phase in your period because I've wanted to do this for years, but like who has the time and the energy? So I'm gonna officially be doing the research and figuring out a good workout plan for like what phases you're on in your period because I don't know if y'all have heard that, but like you shouldn't be working out the same every single phase of your period. It should be very much based on your period. So I'm going to do research about that. So let me know if you guys are interested in hearing what I find, you know? Okay, well, I suppose that's all for this week's episode. We have a nice little quickie. Maybe I shouldn't say that. And it's great. We have a couple holidays coming up. Easter, I'm really excited for. Maybe for Easter, I can get people to write in about their family drama, and we could talk about family drama and family dynamics at holidays. We should so do that. I'm going to post that on my Instagram because that's such a good idea. Look at me. I'm just innovative. Anyways, you could write in at any time about anything. I'm trying to like separate the write-ins by theme so that we could have like different podcast themes, because I think that goes a lot better than like random stories all over the place. So if you have a family drama story you want to tell me, please do. Love family drama. And I mean, not love family drama, but like I've gone through a lot of family drama. So like love it in the regards of like tea, and it makes you stronger. And B, if you have just anything you want to write in about, we talk a lot about friendship and boys, but let's start to get some new things in there. You know what I mean? I want some fresh things. Okay, so yeah, write in, go follow. I do have a podcast, Instagram, and TikTok now. I told myself I wasn't going to, but I do. So follow it. There's like 100 people following both. And those 100 people will all be invited to my wedding because they are real ones. You know what I mean? Real ones. And I can't appreciate them enough. And I can't thank them enough. I might go like personally like DM them all because I love them. That's so sweet. Okay, well, that's all, I think. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're watching on YouTube. I am going to be better about posting my clips on TikTok and Instagram because I don't think I've posted a single one in the past week. I've been overwhelmed, okay? I'm trying to catch up on life. I'm trying to do everything at once, and sometimes you can't do everything at once. So, yeah. Okay, well, love you guys. Bye.